Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This is the Edge of Liberty podcast.
Get ready for truth bombs, belly laughs, and the kind of accent that turns car into a two-syllable adventure. Here's your host, Sean.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Edge of Liberty right here on the SHR Media Network. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. It is the 4th of April, 2026. Lots to talk about this evening. Thank you for being here. Hey, thank you to our friends at KRL. And I just saw Ricky pop in the chat for simulcasting this show. Thank you to the moderators for moderating the show. Couldn't do it without them. Thank you to all the other people who were in the chat room. And I saw the Phantom Mission Ready Men 02. I mentioned Ricky. I know my buddy EOD's in there. And this is how I know it's because he's also backstage and he's going to be joining me because we're going to discuss the alleged Iran deal that was supposed to that's supposed to be coming into effect. And it's really interesting because it's who knows? Who knows how it's going to be? It's Iran. Thank you to EOD for the intro. I greatly appreciate that. Speaking of his ugly ass, let's bring him in. Oh, there he is. Oh, you did it again.
You shall not pass.
Oop, jeez, messing it up. There we go. How are you, sir?
I'm a little discombobulated, but now I'm good.
I'm doing it the best I can. So, of course, you joined us Monday night, and we were talking about the conflict in Iran. And a lot's changed in the last 36 hours over in the Middle East.
You bet.
So let me lay it out, and then we'll discuss it. Because I want to get your feedback. Obviously, you've been on the ground in some other areas during this sort of announcements. So it's a 2-week conditional pause is what they're calling it. And it was brokered by Pakistan, so I'm immediately suspect. Because Pakistan is not historically a peacemaker. Look at what they just did with India. They are not historically an arbitrator of honesty and justice and well-being. So they obviously are probably buying oil from Iran and want those taps to open back up with them, would be my guess, more than anything else, because Pakistan in the last 20 years has been more about money than it has been about anything else. So that's my guess there. Let's talk about some of the finer points to it. Well, let's talk about the fact that, first of all, almost on brand, as soon as the pause, because I don't want to call it a peace deal, it's a pause, went into effect, all of a sudden there were missiles raining down in Israel again, which I thought was
within 2 hours.
In 2 hours. But that does bring up a couple of interesting points. I was looking at it from a command and control point of view. We know their communications are decimated. And does that mean people aren't getting the message?
Well, that's what I was thinking at first. Was we know there were, like you said, the command and control has been completely decimated. 4 weeks ago, we had commanders dropping troops off at IRGC bases and just disappearing.
Yeah.
And leaving privates basically to do their business, that type of deal.
All right, kids, have fun at the park. Dad's gonna go get.
See you. Bye. Don't nuke Israel too bad. All right, guys, be good. But so my first inkling was, hey, maybe this is a command and control issue. The idea hasn't spread down to the lower echelons yet that, hey, maybe we should knock it the hell off. But then they shut down the Strait of Hormuz, and that was where my thought process changed.
Yeah, and I do agree with you. And Ricky just brought up a good point in the chat, and I was actually gonna make this point, but as I was talking to you before the show, everyone likes to Bigfoot some of my ideas, and that's totally fine. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was my bad.
I was talking about Rick's idea.
Oh.
There is a difference between the politicians that we're probably talking to and the people running the IRGCs, which are the ones who are protecting their ass at all costs and holding on for dear life, because if the United States gets their ways, and if you have the less insane group running Iran than was, I don't know, a month ago, then the IRGC has a potential of losing all of its funding. Will it go away? No, it's going to become a proxy terror group, or it's going to become its own terror group. Mm-hmm. They'll probably all flee to Yemen and hide with the Yemenis.
That'd be like taking you out and leaving me in charge.
Yeah, it's a horrible.
Come on.
It is a terrible. You, BZ, and a dream. Like,
right? Dream, brother. We can dream big.
The points of this pause. Immediate and permanent end to Operation Epic Fury airstrikes, in which Trump said, yeah, okay, because we kind of met our objective anyhow. And outside of taking out missile launching facilities and vehicles, we really don't have much more we can hit. When everything's gone, what's the point of bombing it a second time? Complete withdrawal of American forces from the Persian Gulf. We'll get to that. Here's the
yeah, okay.
Here's the fun part about that. Even if we're not right in the Persian Gulf, we can still get out and touch you in a matter of hours. It doesn't matter where we are on this planet. I give the Navy a hard time occasionally, but that's what they're the best at, is they're able to project strength. I agree with Rick. I don't think it's going to happen, but even if it did, immediate lifting of all the recent economic sanctions, that ain't going to fucking happen. Unfreezing Iranian assets, that ain't going to fucking happen. Absolute right to domestic uranium enrichment, that ain't going to happen. This is all from Iran, by the way. This is what they want, I should articulate. Formal condemnation of Israeli military actions in Lebanon. Funny thing, the Iranians essentially said that any peace, pause, or ceasefire, not just in this 10-point plan that they laid out, but all of them, is that the Israelis have to leave the Lebanese Hezbollah alone, which is really funny that they can negotiate over somebody in another country, not even in Israel. It's in a third country, Lebanon. Go ahead.
Wasn't that why they decided that's why they're continuing to attack?
Yeah. And look, they finally got, after 20 years, 15 years of Hezbollah really owning southern Lebanon, because there was a period where Lebanon was quiet and peaceful and nice again. I remember, and I don't know if you remember this, but in the early 2000s, late 99, it was starting to become like a party and vacation spot.
A lot, because a lot of Lebanon was Christian.
Well, it was not Hezbollah. That's for damn.
It was not Hezbollah.
So And now you're going to the Israelis are going to wipe out Hezbollah like they did with Hamas. Notice you didn't hear much from Hamas during this engagement. Occasionally, a couple rockets here and there.
There's not a lot left to hear from.
And another thing I wanted to point out too is you had the Yemeni saying, what was it, 4 or 5 days ago? They're the guy in his fake uniform and a baseball hat talking about how the Yemeni people are now going to be. And by the way, Yemen's another country. It's kind of like Lebanon. The Yemeni Houthis are not the actual government that runs that country. They're a terrorist group that lives in the other side of the country, much like Hezbollah, much like Hamas. And they're another agency that was funded strictly by Iran and all of the missiles by Iran. So they have a vested interest into Iran, the government in Iran as we know it, not going away. However, haven't heard much from them since that announcement.
Not since their last ballistic missile strike in Israel. And that quickly got retaliated against.
And you notice too, their missiles are going towards Israel. They're not going out to the ocean. They don't want to play that game.
No, not really. Not right now. Not in the Strait of Oman or Adam.
Adam, rather. Sorry. Here's another great point that the Iranians, I guess if you're the Iranians right now, if you're the IRGC, you're just shooting for the moon anyhow, because what fucking choice do you have? I mean, you're going down either way. Another great one, strict non-interference of Iranian domestic policy and security, because we saw how well they do that. They just murder everybody and ask questions later. Financial reparations for Iran. And guaranteed safe passage for all Iranian military and commercial vessels globally.
Now, when they say financial reparations for Iran, are they talking about are we going to rebuild their country?
But you have to understand from the IRGC and the Iranian leadership point of view, especially the mullahs, they're used to presidents in this country just sending them pallets of cash.
That's true.
So why wouldn't you ask for that? All of this is delusion, right? We know it's delusion. We know none of this shit's going to happen. But the other thing too, it tells you who you're dealing with. They're either A, unbelievably unintelligent to think that they're going to get any of these, or B, or
they're shooting the moon.
Right? Because they know they're going down and they're trying to absolutely, I equate it to the house is on fire and they're worried about rearranging furniture. Because that's all they got going on right now.
Yeah, but if they can get 5 out of 10, that's not too bad.
They're going to get 0 out of 10. The only thing they might get is the recent economic sanctions being lifted. That's not all the sanctions, because some of their sanctions,
go back to 1979.
Exactly. SRP Valkyrie. The fact that they're willing to trot out women and children around power plants says a lot. Yeah. They only care about power of themselves, SRP, and they only care about, that's all they've ever cared about. Ever since the French allowed the first Ayatollah to take over in Iran, that's what it's always been about, and it's not going to change anytime soon. So that's the Iranian wish list. They're allegedly going over to Pakistan. The American delegation will be Vice President Vance, which is kind of says a lot.
Right, because he is actually a no bullshit kind of guy.
He is a no bullshit, and it shows you when you're sending the number 2. When was the last time? Oh, well, let's rephrase this a little bit, because I don't want to talk about the last vice president. When was the last time you saw a vice president involved in a negotiating a contract or a peace agreement or an ending to a conflict? Biden spent some time in Ukraine before the war.
But he wasn't negotiating an end to anything.
Right. That's when he was vice president. Cheney negotiated the other way. He started everything. He didn't necessarily finish it. So, you look at all that and you're like, wow. And it tells you that's a huge nod from Trump towards the vice president. Huge Trump nod, because you're making this is a big spotlight, and it's not like JD Vance hasn't had a huge spotlight on him being Trump's vice president. But you're sending him over there to end this conflict or to try to end this conflict. What do you think Vance and the delegation, what their mindset is going in? Is it just going to be totally go fuck yourself, go fuck yourself, go fuck yourself? Or do they already have contacts on the inside that they're working with?
Oh, come on. You know they have contacts on the inside. They had guys not only in the Mossad, but there was CIA assets. There was everybody else and their brother from God knows how many intelligence agencies that were actually inside the Ayatollah's inner circle for 3 years before all of this shit kicked off. You know damn well there's someone going, Ahmed, I could use a little extra cash, and, here we are.
And I always think of the guy, and I can't remember his name. He's one of the head of the Quds divisions who happened to walk out the door in every major facility just before it was blown up for the last year in Iran.
Weird, right?
Yeah, and he just keeps living somehow. Even though
he's got plot armor.
Yeah. You can do that because that first night when we hit what was it, 39 in one building of like their absolute top brass, he's the only one that was there.
Out of 40 people, he's the only survivor.
So the Iranian delegation's the parliament speaker.
What was lone survivor? What was his name? Take that guy. Talk about lone survivor. Yeah. You out of 4 people. He's out of 40. Over and over and over.
Guys will look at explosions, and he was looking for the exact opposite reason. He wasn't looking right. He's just shuffling away, not looking
He's
back.
like, I gotta get home.
Whatever button he had to press to say, yeah, they're all there. And it does remind you a little bit of Operation Valkyrie, right? Back in the day when they were trying to blow up Hitler, where you had
absolutely
who were like, yeah, we can't have this. And
Marcus Luttrell, thank you.
Marcus Luttrell, good job, Valkyrie. Thank you. See, this is why I love some of our listeners, because they're educated, they're knowledgeable, and they're willing to make up for it when we're complete dumbasses.
Right? Or drunk. Or both.
or Iranian delegations, the parliament speaker and the foreign minister. Can you imagine, though, in this situation? And look, my complete, total thought process on this is they're going to say, we'll give you whatever the fuck you want. Just please stop killing us. Right. And I think a lot of that's going to be a change in leadership. I think that's going to be one of the heavy negotiation points. I mean, our first mission in this was to degrade their military and degrade their nuclear capabilities 100%. But I don't think that's going to be the end of that talking point. I think that's going to go a lot further, and real change, I'm sure, is going to be one of the things. Now, admittedly, because I understand how world politics work, and I'm not stupid, it may be a real change to our guy, to somebody that we approve of, but it won't be the people that were in charge then. It makes you wonder how many of those mullahs haven't already fled the country. I mean, they had to have fled the country already. But I really think they're over in Yemen right now. I think a lot of them are over in Yemen because the Yemeni military has zero control over Yemen. The Yemeni government has the Houthis run the whole, the eastern part of that country is the Houthis, or is it the western? Every time we get over there,
Western.
Yeah. Every time we get over there, I always forget where the line is when it starts going from backwards to forwards. I know, but there's no line in front of me as I'm looking that way.
No, I think to be honest with you, whatever happens, the Shah's, or not Shah, but the Ayatollah's son can't be left in charge. And if ultimately, I think the ultimate goal of the Trump administration is actually to go back to the Shahs, because that's where the Persians want it to be.
Oh yeah, no. The Crown Prince has already said he's willing to come back and lead a transitional government. Which, I understand the history. Everyone's like, we don't understand that we put the Shah into. No, I understand the history of Iran. The point isn't the history really as much as getting them to stop funding all the fucking terrorism in the world. That's the point. That's the
exactly.
End. and not let them be nuclear armed while being one of the worst actors on the planet. Now,
Exactly.
I laugh at how many people have already gone after Trump for giving in too easy. The same people that question the war or that question the conflict. Oh, we shouldn't be there and people are going to die. We shouldn't do this and we shouldn't do that. Now, like, well, now he's a coward. He's a coward. It's like, well, every military objective has been met. So actually, if he continues like, say, Obama did and others did when they just kept drone striking everything, you're going to run into the risk where you're just killing civilians. Because once all the military infrastructure is taken out, for the most part, I think we can agree, for the most part, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you keep bombing it?
Right.
That doesn't mean that every once in a while we're not going to have to send a message in the next couple of weeks if that you get some of those. And we know this with other countries, and we've seen this in the past. You will get a couple of rogue units that no matter what their leadership says, they're still going to try. That's been going on for years. There's always that one guy that lobs over the last missile, at the last hour when he can. So that's going to, but I don't see the point of continuous bombing beyond our objective.
I get that. However, I don't see this as ending as nicely as that. I see this as, well, go ahead.
Yes. Before you go any further, I agree that I don't think Iran can stick to this yet. I think a few more of them need to go off the planet before they start realizing how serious it is, but continue.
No, I think we're actually ultimately going to see the... there's my boy, Mike O'Toole. So I think we're going to see, honestly, we're going to see the infrastructure bombed. We're going to see the bridges bombed. We're going to see the power plants bombed. We're going to see daily life of the average Iranian citizen get kind of messed up a lot.
Compared to what? The amazing life you were living before when they... No.
I totally get it. I totally get it. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to kill the
Iranian people are still supporting this by and large.
Oh, no. I'm not arguing that point at all. Not arguing that point at all. Not at all. I'm saying that we're basically going to cripple that country to the point of, like Trump said, the Stone Age. And it's going to need to go back to that point so it's been can be brought back forward.
It's already the Stone Age.
Upgrade.
Yeah. It actually would be, the Stone Age might be an improvement for a lot of the country. And that's because legitimately the government was so atrocious there that they let their people suffer and never prosper and took all of their money and putting it in to try to get nuclear weapons so they could try to rule the Middle East. That's really why I joke and say it's a Stone Age, but and it's not because the people there, look, the Iranian people up until the Ayatollah came in, were one of the most educated and modern people in the Middle East. So it's not like, we have the conversations about the IQ of the Somali people where there hasn't been an education system in place in 60 years, 70 years, whatever it is.
Exactly.
There was infrastructure there for a long time.
We called it that's 70s.
Dude, have you ever, I'm going to sidestep here. There was some unbelievably hot Persian chicks. I'm just going to say,
dude, the 70s in Iran, we're talking mini skirts, we're talking Levi jeans. Yeah. Dude, they were smoking.
And that was like, even now you see some of these young Persian women on the internet who are for this, and you're like, they are still gorgeous, man. And I said it all the time. Oh, if any of them needed a safe place to stay during the war,
I've got an extra room.
I'm a giver. I am a
giver.
So, but let's go back.
You and me both, man. We'll do this together. I got extra space. You got extra space. Come to SHR Media. We will give till it hurts.
It'd be like,
give more.
In my age, it would be like a dog catching a car. I wouldn't know what to do with it.
I'd be like, oh, you're...
Yeah. I always laugh because I joke with my friends. I'm like, I love how we talk so tough at our age. Because there's no way to prove it. There's no way it's ever going to happen.
No.
You can't prove that I can't handle it, except for the fact that I'm going to be honest with you and tell you I can't handle it.
You know what's going to happen. They'd show up and go, "Hello, Lyle. I am here for your gracious offer." And then you're going to be attending my funeral next Tuesday.
Yes.
And that's how you'll know that I was a good guy and I offered it forward and they came and I did not deliver, or I did deliver and died with a smile on my face.
Either way. It was a good
Either way.
That would be the ultimate irony for you. For all the bombs that didn't get you and tried.
An Iranian, a 22-year-old Iranian chick.
Bomb shell was the one that caused your death. That would be
God bless her. Yes, ma'am.
Michael O'Toole, BZ in the chat room. Good evening, BZ. Said Iran was a highly cultured Persian society. 100% yes. Michael O'Toole said same thing in Afghanistan. Agreed. Afghanistan was another. And we know the common trend before everyone goes into the chat room and say what the common trend is. We know what caused it. We're here now discussing where do we go forward from this?
The CIA.
They did everything. The whole reason I'm going bald, CIA. I tell people that all the time. That's what I blame on my going bald. Freaking CIA had it out for me. So we get to
why does my dog hate me? The CIA.
Why is that Persian girl trying to kill me? That actually could be the CIA. Actually, that one. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm going to close out this segment because I think we've beaten this horse well into the ground. That's your better half telling you you're dead.
Actually, it was my daughter telling me she's telling me she loves me.
Aww.
It was nice.
Don't even make fun of that.
Right. I have a kid who actually loves me.
I know. And it's, as a dad, I can't give you a hard time about that. It's just
she's like in her 30s too. That's the fun part.
So, hey, you did something right, my friend. Congratulations. That's awesome.
I'm gonna tell her back.
CIA. BZ says the CIA made me overweight from night injectables. Unfortunately, they were all potato based. BZ. And if you watch BZ's show, you'll get that. So that's what's going on overseas. Let's go a little bit home because I want to talk about some domestic policies. I'll blow through the break because you have a beer, I have a drink. There's no reason for us to fuck around. The Dignity Act, which has been supported by every Democrat or 20 Democrats, I should say, and 20 Republicans. Meanwhile, just 2 years ago, the country overwhelmingly voted to secure our borders and mass deportations. Mm-hmm. And the country still supports only Americans voting in the SAVE Act, and only, by and large, it's not even close for the polling on the SAVE Act. And the vast majority of the country, people in this country, still want the immigration laws of our nation enforced. Where the fuck do these 20 Republicans reside? We're trying to we can't get the SAVE Act fucking passed, but you have 20 Republicans who are like, oh yeah, I'm all for Amnesty 2.0. That's totally fine. And then they wonder how they fucking lose elections. Like, I know BZ says it. I know Mission Ready Men says this. Democrats don't win elections. Republicans lose them. And this is yet another example of how you fucking do just that.
Absolutely. This is where we're going. The 2026 elections are going to be just that, too. The Democrats aren't going to win them. We're going to lose them.
If we lose, it's because the Republicans lost them. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Because 20, like you said, 20 Republicans are going, oh, I think it's a great idea to give, X amount of illegal aliens, amnesty and just bring them in. Because I want to clear the air real quick. How many illegal aliens are in the United States right now?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. But what's the number that keeps getting thrown around?
Oh, anywhere between 10 and 20 million.
10 and 20 million. Well, that 10 and 20 million, I know you're significantly younger than me. We talked about this earlier. Back in my day, back in my day, in the early 80s, there was 11 million illegal aliens in this country.
Yeah. What changed?
You telling me that we still only have between 10 and 20 million illegal aliens in this country?
If I had to estimate, and I haven't read on the total number, I just talking about what I know came over the border under Biden. O2AMT says, and he's much smarter than I am. Some people say closer to 30 million.
See, I'm saying closer to 80 million.
Oh, I would say anywhere between 40 and 80. I think that's a good number, but we have no way of knowing.
But let me say this. Let me say this here, because the close to 30 million might be only taking into account, the people who came over illegally. I'm taking into the people who came here, had babies. Those babies are illegal.
Funny you should mention that. So birthright, there was a story came out on the birthright citizenship and why, a lot of us have been saying, look, it's not what you think it is. There was a group of, I think, 20 women in just this one story from China that waited till they were 8.5 months pregnant, jumped on a plane, and came here to spit out an anchor baby.
Yep.
Spit out, I think, is a beautiful way to describe childbirth. Yeah. And this one story found these 20 women, that's all they were focused on. They're not saying this is the only 20, and they're not saying there's more. This story just focused on those 20. It was a very black and white story. But the reality of the situation is that's going to be multiplied by numerous numbers, large numbers, before you find reality. And
right. Give it 18 years.
That's not necessarily the same as crossing into the border illegally. They don't get counted because they're here on visas. Right. So they're here on legal visas or legal passports. They're supposed to be here for a month, whatever. And then they spit out the baby. Well, now their baby's a citizen, and guess what? Mom gets to stay now. And it's funny that you mentioned China, because you had the brother and sister that were China born and living in Florida that planted the base outside, the bomb outside the base. Again, you have to start thinking of what long-term goals other nations have. And look, China's a long-term goal. They will absolutely let up the 100-year run go of trying to take over. You think that, look, we're going to talk about Swalwell and Fang Fang here in a minute. They can get people closest to some of the highest politicians in the land. And as much as Swalwell's a little penis, his position is
with a little penis.
Government was the only reason why Fang Fang touched his little penis. But that's neither here nor there. They can absolutely plan. I mean, you look at all the bio arrests coming in and out with biomaterial. You look at all we had a fucking Chinese police station in New York City that was busted last year. A Chinese police station where they were monitoring Chinese Americans in New York City and acting like an outpost for the Chinese CCP.
Right.
So we have to.
How mind-blowing is that?
And there was another one in allegedly in San Francisco as well, because San Francisco has a large Chinese population as well. It's insane. And for people that don't know, like, it's so funny how many people I hear defend China. Again, the people are fine. Most of the people I have zero issue with. It's the communists and the leadership that we all have issues with. And I always say that because some liberal at some point be like, oh, you just don't like the Chinese. And I'm like, no, I'm not calling them anything. I'm talking about the communists that run that fucking country and the people that work for them and do their bidding. Now, the farmers who are out in the field farming, I don't have any grudge against those folks. Like, why would I? But
no, but the people who do want to come over here and take advantage of us, then yeah, fuck those guys.
BZ says, Valkyrie's talking about how he's down living in South America. He's an expat, a veteran expat.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Their whole airline is from Russia that landed in Argentina just prior to the Ukraine invasion for just that. Amazing. See, I didn't hear that story. We won't hear that story here in America because they don't ever want to talk about that. Thank you. Valkyrie's awesome. Valkyrie showed up a couple weeks ago, and he's been coming back and forth through the shows, and it's nice to see that. I know the brother went back to China. Oh, this was regarding, and it wasn't, what Air Force base was it? Was it MacDill?
That was, MacDill.
Yeah.
Beautiful, but yet boring Cocoa Beach, Florida.
The brother went back to China and that. And yeah, he did as well. And then Beezy says, invaders, dude, I'm tired. Compromised 23% of our total population in just the past 10 years. And he talks about the lack of assimilation, the demands on the infrastructure, the budget. Yeah, it is.
So when do we set up our own counter invasion?
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, I don't know. Can we go over there and start setting up massage places on every corner?
Right. I mean, you'll have to give a happy ending, but it's just going to be some fat guy with a grill out front.
Can you imagine being that CIA spy and they're like, all right, we need you to go infiltrate China and you're a super pro-American ready to do the right thing, right? Awesome. What's my mission? You're going to open a massage parlor in Hong Kong and you're going to have to whack off every leader of the CCCP to get information.
Or you're gonna open up a restaurant where you're just gonna have to have a big beer belly, stand out in front with a coal fire grill, sitting out there. You want a hot dog or a hamburger?
Dude, I'm ready for that mission. Look at me. I am so ready for that. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
I have prepared for this day every single day of my life.
SRP Valkyrie. Sir, when you say that's what I'm doing, I need to know, is it the hand job or the burgers? Which say, I'm not judging, sir. You got to be specific on this show.
God bless America.
We salute you.
Oh, he's his own ODA. I love it.
I hope
for those that don't know what that is, that's his own ODAs, other defense agencies, your own Delta Force. God bless you, sir. Hold on.
Okay, he's taking
his
over
own Delta Force. He's behind enemy lines. He's taking care of business.
Listen to Post too. If you don't follow Listen to Post, if you're into nerdy stuff and intelligent nerdy stuff, go Listen to Post Studios on YouTube's great. Listen to Post says $30 is $30.
Hell yeah. I'm not gay, but $30 is $30, man.
Michael is giving us insider information. Did you know this? And I think it's something that you have to be there before you know it. To be honest, Hong Kong gets all of its hookers from the Philippines, which I didn't know, but I guess that's firsthand knowledge.
Michael O'Toole, my man behind the scenes, he knows what's going on.
We're getting the insight. Think about how international this show is tonight. I have a whole bunch of former military guys in the chat room, obviously on the air with me, and we're getting all the intel from all over the world.
I may or may not have put out the call. Guys, come in here and shoot them straight. Let them know how it really is.
So we're stuck. I'm going to bring us back to some sort of topic before we just sit here and
we're going to talk shit for the rest of the night. That's it.
We can't get the story back through. We're talking about how this is exactly how we lose elections in this country. And for the conservatives, liquid spew out his nose. What kind of liquid? It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
I don't want to talk about that. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you're into, you're into. And when are we going to actually start making sense?
Right.
When are we going to actually start? Look, if you are a conservative, you're a Republican, and I'm guessing if you are voting for this Dignity Act, you're not a conservative. You're a rhino, and I get that.
Democrat light.
I get what you are. I don't necessarily say I agree with you. I'm saying I understand who you are and what you are. But you have to look at polling nationwide and say, if I vote for this, it's going to hurt the Republicans. If the Republicans lose, I'm eventually not going to be in office. So even if I'm a rhino, even if a diet Democrat, like you said, Democrat light, you still kind of have to vote against this just because if you want to keep your phony baloney job in Washington, D.C., you don't want the party that you represent to lose power, because then you lose everything, potentially your seat, unless you're going to pull, you're going to be, what's his name from Virginia, and you're just always going to be in the middle no matter what, and you're never going to.
I'll take it a step further. If you want to keep your soul,
Well,
all right. I mean, come on, man. Come on. If you want to keep your soul here, I mean, who the hell votes against the United States?
We're talking about politicians. Their soul's gone a long time ago.
Well, no, I get it, but Jesus, I mean, can you sit there and like pretend to actually like the country you're supposedly representing?
And I mean, I bet you these 20 people are the same ones that voted against the SAVE Act.
Oh, I'll guarantee it. I don't
know that. I haven't confirmed it. This is just a guess, but that is my my theory on that. And look, the SAVE Act has to pass. There's no questions about it. The Democrats, I keep telling everyone, the Democrats, the only reason they're against it has nothing to do with the illegals. They don't give a shit about illegals. They don't care about them. They've always just been a campaign slogan for Democrats, same as all the other minorities. They don't really give a shit about them. They just want to use them to keep power. The SAVE Act will keep a lot, in my opinion, of people voting that shouldn't be. And that's the only reason the Democrats oppose it, because 80% of the country wants it. The CNN admitted that 80% of the country wants the SAVE Act to pass. And the only people who are opposing it, it's because they have something to lose while the rest of the country wins.
Well, yeah. I mean, the only reason why you would oppose the SAVE Act is you want to cheat. Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, it's a voter ID law that on its
which almost every other country has but us. And I'll take it even a step further. I love how they're framing it that women and black people can't seem to keep their paperwork straight. They're just not intelligent enough, which is absolutely hysterical that they're like, oh, well, the blacks and the chicks, they're just super stupid. It's like, whoa. A couple of years ago, you were telling us you're the only people that fought for people of color and feminism. And now you're saying if that's to figure it out.
Yeah, but if that's the case, if they're so stupid, then shouldn't we just get rid of the 19th Amendment and the 14th and the 15th? I mean, come on, just get rid of it then. If they're that stupid, come on, Democrats, say it.
We're talking about how Democrats have absolutely zero idea what they're doing. And they'll literally, they will do what you do have to show an ID for everything, Michael. You're 100% right. And they will do whatever they can to slowly erode this country. And they've been doing it for years. I don't care what anybody says. Their whole goal is to be locusts and devour everything that this country's ever built because they think socialism. The best part is the people that vote for this actually believe that if that type of government comes to power in this country, that they're going to be treated better than they are now. That's my favorite part about this. They have the voters convinced, like, life's going to be great, man. It's going to be like the hippies and Hayden Ashbury, and we're all just going to get along all the time. And it's like, no, that ain't gonna happen.
Can I address somebody in the comments before he leaves? Howard, don't go nowhere. This is not a left versus right channel at all. Howard, throw that up. Throw that. Here, I'm going to throw it up. I can throw it up there. Here we go. There we go. Howard, this is not a left versus right channel. This is a rational thought versus absolute lunacy channel.
And then comes
whoever says it,
who obviously never read the bill or is from overseas. It's not. You don't need a passport. There are numerous other government issued birth certificates, marriage licenses. All of that stuff is going to be accepted. So,
real ID.
Yeah, exactly. This is just, and that's the problem. Is you have people like that who don't read the bill. They just repeat what the politicians they like say. They're useful idiots. And then,
do you know you can get a real ID in the state of Massachusetts for absolutely nothing?
Yeah, California too. California, you can get a state ID in California if you're illegal. And then amazingly, for healthcare, guess what is the only requirement to get state healthcare in California in an emergency basis or otherwise, where everything's paid?
Pulse?
No, you just need a state ID. So when they're talking about illegals never got health care, it's like, no, they 100% did. There's no questions asked. What do we got? 15 minutes left. I got to talk about Boston, man, because you and I are both native sons. So to speak. And
you know what? When you told me the backstory on this, because I unfortunately missed this, I've been waiting for this story. So I'm go.
So a couple years ago, the Democrats were telling us, look, defund the cops at all costs, no matter what. You defund the police, And then, and for all of these mental health calls that we're suddenly dealing with, nobody wants to talk about what's causing all of these mental health issues. They just need to trying to find a new and exciting way to deal with it, because a majority of firefighters and cops, these are the calls that they're going on, are people in mental health crisis. And I'm not saying these people aren't in mental health crises, but this has become... Really? You get a delivery while I'm talking? I'm monologuing here, all right? And you're going to turn around and just get a gift.
It was wicked pissa. Oh, you know what? I had my boy come down. He gave me a freaking beer. It was amazing. It was wicked pissa, man.
You know, Jersey Joe's the other one. He gets free coffee while he's midway through the show delivered to him. And I'm just...
All I got to say for you is...
Go to Boston. We're going to Hemingway Street, which is near Northeastern University.
Northeastern.
Not an upscale neighborhood, but not a complete trash dump either. Kind of middle of the road. They go out for a what we used to call a disorderly call, but disturbing the peace, somebody being loud in their apartment, being obnoxious. They get there. Police department gets there, and I'm sure some new lieutenant or whatever said, "Oh, we have to send the collision. This is a mental health crisis." So they call out Boston H&H, which is the ambulance company, Boston EMS. It's EMS now. It used to be H&H. They call it Boston EMS now. They roll a truck that has the clinician on it. Doug, that's not the whole bill, though. Go read the whole fucking bill, not just picking and choosing what you want to. Go read the whole bill. So anyhow, the H&H truck gets there. And the clinician goes upstairs, and the clinician's talking to this person through the door. Threw my mouse on the ground.
Do you see what you did here? You guys got them all flipped out.
I'm all out of sorts. So, we're talking to the guy through the door, right?
Through the door.
Instead of just CS in the place and dragging the guy out and having it be over with, they're giving him time on the other side of a closed door to do whatever he wants to do. And they're negotiating with this guy who's already yelled out threats and yada, yada, yada. And then the door cracks a little bit, and out comes what was described as a katana and stabs the clinician, the mental health clinician, who I'm not blaming this woman for being there. I'm blaming the people that put her there. And 2 cops in the process, and then the rest of the cops on scene properly ventilated him.
For those of you who don't know what a katana is, it's a samurai sword. A sword.
Sword, you motherfucker.
A sword, you motherfucker.
Yeah. Had the arm and struck the clinician with it. They tried to deploy a taser at first, and which
a taser.
This is the problem. And this, I don't blame the street cops for this. I don't.
I frickin' do.
I blame the people that are instituting all of these changes in the police academy, use of force. Yeah, you don't bring a taser to a samurai sword fight. You bring a gun to a samurai sword fight.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them.
And here,
look, the whole thing now is who's got less than lethal, who's got lethal, yada, yada, yada. And I'm sure as soon as he saw the stabbing, he just unloaded what he had in his hand and then probably maybe transitioned. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because Boston cops, despite Wu and the leadership in the city of Boston, they can still get down a little bit. They're still not what it used to be. Because I'll tell you.
I'm doing my best De Niro face.
They're not what they used to be. The old adage in Boston is if I get to chase you, I'm bringing an ass kicking with me. That's
me and 20 dudes.
That's how Boston used to get down. But they're still isolated enough because, and I'll tell you too, from working in the city in law enforcement, the politicians there used to love all the downtrodden, the drug addicts and all that other stuff until they came close to their fucking house. And then you'd get calls to usher them along the way. I don't want that. And, oh no, the police are here.
Not them.
We're going to get them help. Then they turn around and get this fucking asshole away. If he shits on my grass one more time, I'm going to make sure that none of you guys have jobs tomorrow. That's how it works. So,
not NIMBY. Yeah. Not in my backyard, sir.
So there is absolutely portions of that's true. And it's amazing. This whole idea of clinicians now being involved in law enforcement. There's a reason why they're riding on the ambulances to these calls. because they don't belong in the law enforcement capacity. You know, and they phrase it, all the news, it's really funny. This person was a mental health clinician. That was their designation. That's what they were there for. All of the news in Boston wrote this off that it was an ambulance worker that was stabbed. You'll notice they stayed away from the word mental health clinician because they know how bad that looks, right? And I'm sure that, and outside of the Herald, the mayor's office in Boston and the State House control all the media. And it's just like it used to be under Biden. And they've been doing that in liberal cities for years. Boston was like that even when I lived there, where it didn't matter what. I was shocked that the marathon bombing got covered like it did, which actually had some pretty forthcoming information, the marathon bombing, because what's his name there? The governor, oh God, what was his name? He was Obama.
Oh, Baker.
No, it was before Charlie Baker. It was oh God, I can't think of his name.
During the marathon? Or Duval?
Bombing. Huh?
Duval.
Yeah, that's right. Friamal Duval. Duval administration had it under lock and key on that, on what the press could and couldn't say in Boston. If they said it, didn't matter how untrue it was, the press ran with it. And that's why when it hit a national scale, I was like, oh, I've seen this before. I've absolutely seen this before. This is Massachusetts. This is the Boston Globe. The Boston Globe might as well say Massachusetts State's House Bugle or the Boston Mayor's Office Bugle. Because, and people are like, Mumbles Menino was the best at it. Mumbles Menino back in the day could turn around.
Mushmouth Menino.
Yeah, absolutely turn around and spin anything, and the Globe and others would just go, oh, okay, well, if Menino says so, it must be true. Menino was kind of a piece of shit. Most people don't realize that. Like, I as a mayor, I know he passed away and he was sick, and I don't wish that upon anyone. Cancer is a horrible thing. But as a mayor, he was not a great mayor. He was a piece of garbage. And it absolutely is how Boston had been for years. So to see this get covered like it shocked me in no way whatsoever. Where I looked at all the different headlines, ambulance worker, person assigned to ambulance, but where's the mental health clinician? Where's the thing that you demanded show up to these calls, and now one of them got slashed and stabbed, and you don't want to fucking talk about it?
Right.
And it's, look, I'll tell you, I've been to that variation of that call probably 100 times. I mean, I worked in the projects in Roxbury and Dorchester for a long time. And the South.
God bless you.
And I've been to this person's in their house being unbelievably out of control and being obnoxious. And
which will be me in about 2 hours.
Yeah, it's going to be you in about where you'd show up. If a family member called, they'd let you in. Hey, we gotta go. Nope. All right, now you're fucking going. Right? You don't let them escalate. You certainly don't let them lock themselves in a place where you don't know what's in there for an extended period of time when they're irate and on a different level. Because all you're doing is letting them barricade, letting them get weapons, make weapons, whatever. And you're making the scene more unsafe than just going in and putting them in handcuffs and getting them out. And yeah, it might be messy to go in and have to drag someone to the ground and fight with them a little bit and put cuffs on them. That's part of the job. And that's part of the reality of them. They're making those choices. The cops aren't driving around and saying, oh, let me go to 28A Aguadilla Street and go into the basement apartment and just lock the guy up in the back bedroom because it's 2 a.m. and I'm bored. It's because we're called there. That person's so fucking out of control. Their family member was like, I'd rather the cops deal with them than me. That says a lot. And we've lost that scope of vision and reality in life now, where it's like, oh, this person needs help. Yeah, they do, but we're not going to be able to do it here. You've waited 15 years for your brother to become a raging drug addict, where he's booting heroin constantly left and right. And then when he doesn't get his fix, he starts robbing and stabbing people. And then when I show up, he's violent. Now I get to fight him and put him in handcuffs. And you're mad I did that because I couldn't resolve 15 years of issues in 35 seconds? No. No. I got to tell you that I'm going to put him in handcuffs. I'm going to make everybody in the house safe. And then I'm going to bring him somewhere. It's not necessarily going to be jail. I'm going to bring him somewhere where he gets the help he needs. And
hopefully it wasn't before he was ventilated.
Yeah. Seriously.
Right? Hopefully. You know what? And for everybody involved, not just him, but for you.
Me?
The
family?
Because exactly, your family, his family, everybody's family. Because I mean, having shot someone myself, that's not a fun time to deal with. Having shot several someone's myself, that is not something that is very happy to deal with, And
no cop wants look, I know cops that used to love when somebody would fight with them, right? Because they would just, they just wanted to
That's how they get down.
Yeah. They loved if somebody took a swing at them. You could almost see the smile on their face. It was like, all right, let's go. None of them wanted to hurt anybody legitimately that I knew. I never heard anyone say,
We called them META cops.
Yeah.
But
I never heard anybody I worked with ever say, can't wait to go out and fuck somebody up tonight. Usually we go out and say, God, I hope nothing fucking happens because I'm tired and I didn't sleep all day, or I was in court all day, or I want to get a good dinner and we're not going to be too fucked up for dinner because we get involved in an incident, then we can't go get dinner because we have to go book somebody. Now it's going to add. No cops out there doing that. The first couple of years, you want to chase everything that moves because that's just, you're young, you're amped up, you want to go do the right thing and get bad guys and bring them to jail.
And most of those involve skirts.
Yeah.
So
that's not chasing the bad guy, that's chasing badge bunnies, and that's entirely different. And then after the first couple of years where you wake up and this hurts and that hurts and you have cuts on you from the night before and you're like, okay, there's got to be a different way. And then you learn how to talk to people a little bit better, which is why you usually had younger guys riding with older guys so they could learn how to talk to people. And I'll tell you, as far as negotiating in a crisis situation, cops are unbelievable at it. I know people don't want to believe that, but we're so used to telling people to fuck off and make them feel good about where they want to go.
And think it's their idea.
Go fuck myself. And cops just talk to people all day. And yeah, not every cop is great at flapping gums in these situations. Some of them are better than others. But by and large, most of your job is talking to people. And talking people in and out of crisis on a regular basis. And sometimes it's not going to work, but I'll take the judgment of a 10-year cop over a 20-year clinician as to whether or not this needs to end in 30 seconds. You can walk through that door and assess the situation. And you're like, nope, this guy's going to fucking fight me. He's balling his fist. He's all bound up. He's breathing heavy, furtive gestures. He's looking around the room to see what he can hit me with, yada, yada, yada. This guy doesn't want help. This guy wants a fight. Or you walk in, and the guy's like huddled in the corner and just like, I'm sorry. Right away. It's like, okay, we're going to talk to this guy for a little bit. And we'll get an ambulance to come out and get him. Whatever.
Or just sitting in a chair.
Yeah. Clinicians don't know that shit. They don't belong there. We go in, we make it safe. Then the clinicians come in. And let's start having the conversation about how all of these people end up in mental health crisis, how this is a thing in the last 25 years that is plaguing our nation. And I will say that I think a lot of it is over medication. I think a lot of it is over medication of the population at a young age, all the way through adulthood. I mean, shit, I know people right now that they're on uppers and downers and mood depressants and all this other shit. When back in high school, I remember them spending a lot of money to get. I can remember them spending a lot of really bad places to buy those at 10 o'clock at night, and now they walk into CVS to get the exact same shit. But at some point, we have to ask, and I'm not talking about PTSD. That's a different conversation entirely. I'm talking about why the 15-year-old kid suddenly snaps when that wasn't a thing for the longest time. And some of it is how we're raising our younger generation. Some of it is
very true.
Everybody gets a trophy. You're never wrong. My baby would never, blah, blah, that everybody else is wrong but my kid, blah, 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 blah. Which has led to the saying, and I firmly believe this, raise your children or somebody else will. And the other one that goes along with that is if you don't raise your kids, you're going to end up raising your grandkids, which is another very true statement.
And let me put it this way. If you don't raise your kids, guess who's in charge of you when you're in diapers again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. Wait for the zombie apocalypse of all the adult diaper wearing freaking 90-year-old freaking assholes like me who have skills.
Doing the birth certificate. There you go. A copy of a birth certificate. Yeah. A copy of a certificate of naturalization. All stuff that adults have. You're literally proving point that it's not.
Well, actually, are we talking about Doug? Because we can go back to Doug's. Doug actually said it back here. Oh, here it is right here. Here's the statement I want you to look at, Doug, but is not limited to.
Right.
In your own statement, but is not limited to. That's what I would like you to look at.
The word birth certificate. There we go. Right there. Birth certificate at most for a copy. I got free sent to me a couple years ago. It cost me about $8. And that's because I wanted extras.
The Bunny Foo on X did it as a woman who has gotten married, and it cost her $20 to get do all this stuff.
Documents. And here's the other thing. I know we're running late and we're going to close out because I'm exhausted, but what woman,
I love you.
I love you too. What woman do you know who you can't turn around to 90% of women and say, hey, do you still have your second grade report card? And they're like, yeah, hold on 30 seconds. Let me go find it. Women are amazing at that.
Oh, God. Do you have any idea what kind of pain that would cause me? I would be going through boxes and boxes, and then, oh my God, look at this. Look at this. This was my first nail job. These were the nails that came off. And then we found these, and then we're going to look at this. And then like 7 days later, out comes the second grade report card where she got all A's and an S is satisfactory in plays well with others. God, can I sleep now?
No, because we're only to the 8th grade, and you're going to sit through all of this because you asked me where my second grade got. No, but it's true. Like they brought up, I can understand. Like as a dude, I've had to go and get a couple copies of things as life has gone on, especially being a single guy now, right? But every single woman I know has all of that shit squared away every single time, and they don't even have to think about it. They know exactly where it is. I can tell you right now, the mother of my children, who I'm very, very blessed to get along with how I do.
Thank God.
I could ask her where X, Y, and Z was for the kids from 6-7 years ago, and I'd have a photo of it on my phone in about 48 seconds, right? I mean, she's just organized. Damn. She's just squared away in that regard. Like she knows her shit, right? That's what she does for a living, is organize things. She's really good at it. But the reality of the situation is, most people, and when you're an adult, you're going to need your birth certificate. You're going to need your social security card. You're going to need your high school transcripts and your ID. You're going to need the minimum of those 4 things to exist in life. Nothing less than that. If you don't have one of those things, you can't get a job. You can't get on an airplane. You can't do a lot of things. You have to prove citizenship to get paid in this country.
Yep.
You have to prove it. The last job I started, I had to bring in a proof of citizenship for my I-9 so I can get paid. You're telling me that women can't prove their citizenship and get paid in this country? Absolutely not.
How misogynistic is that?
It's so incredible. It's
right. So how? And the fun part is you see all these female celebrities online, talking about how misogynistic is it of you to think that women can't figure this out.
It's insane to me. And people of color, it's like Kathy Hochul talking about, black kids can't use computers. Like it's that same mentality of black people can't get their birth certificates. Some of them don't even know who their own father is. It's like, yeah, keep going. Keep saying what you actually think is true.
Keep cooking. You're almost back to 1850. Yeah, let's go.
You really are. Look, I say it all the time. My mother and my 2 sisters are some of the 3 most kick-ass people I've ever met in my life. My mother back in the day, obviously she's in her 80s now, so not so much. But even my 2 sisters now, I wouldn't piss either one of them off because they'd kick the shit out of somebody and then go find their birth certificate, their marriage license, and their passport without wasting it,
and go, look,
you asshole, there it is. We found it. So I want to end on a good story, and I've been holding on to this because we talked Monday night about the slingshot around the backside of the moon, which was such
hell yeah
story. Did you hear what the commander, Reed Weissman's, what they did for him? So his wife passed away in 2020 from cancer. Very sad.
I did not hear this.
They had young kids. when they were on the backs, or we're on one of the sides of the moon. I'm so bad at space stuff. I really wish I was better. They found a spot that hadn't been named, because we name all these things, Sea of Tranquility and all that other stuff. And they asked, and it was approved to be named, that spot to be named Carroll, in memory of his wife, Commander Reed Weissman's wife. And that's going to be
that's awesome.
How absolutely awesome was that? That's
freaking amazing. That's amazing.
I think that's one of the coolest. When we talk about like things that make this country the greatest country on the earth, and I don't care what anyone says, and I know Doug's having a shit fit about the SAVE Act still, and that's fine. He's wrong. He already said birth certificate, but not limited to. So he's already proven.
Go, Doug.
When I talked to you about what a kick-ass country, we talked about the amazing story of our warriors going in and getting the down pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And how awesome that is. And just how everybody involved in that was fucking awesome. But then you have a moment like this, where this guy, who not only lost his wife and they had young kids, he's not only on the Artemis II, going around the side of the moon that's never been gone to, but he gets to name a spot on that hunk of rock that floats in the sky he and his kids are going to be able to look up at that every night and say, yeah, that's the Carroll spot. That's for Mom. What an amazing...
That's a family legacy. That's, you know what? That's for your great, 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 great grandmother.
Yeah. And it's going to keep going. It'll never change.
Right?
That's
amazing.
That's one of those stories that I thought, it just,
God, that's,
I know. I don't want to get too misty in here because we have to go.
No, that's misty as shit, dude.
Yeah.
You're not crying. I'm crying. Wait a minute. You're crying. I'm not crying.
Yeah. Somebody else is crying. It's not me.
BZ was crying.
Somebody else. All right, my friend. Tell everyone where they can find you.
I'm on X at Lyle_Armstrong, as well as here Friday nights and Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific at Beer and Bullstein on the SHR Media Network, simulcast on the KLRN Network.
Lyle, my friend, thank you for being here tonight. I expect the check in the mail.
I will definitely have that right there, along with the dick pics.
The good part is it only looks like one, but a lot smaller. Thanks, Lyle.
It is.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for the Edge of Liberty tonight, right here on the SHI Media Network, simulcast on KLRN. Listen, if you have a chance, go check out shimedia.com. Click on the 250 reasons to read source documents. That was kind of important tonight. As somebody who tried to argue that something wasn't in a bill, who didn't read it and then read it and say, well, it wasn't really about that, you nincompoop. Read the source documents, get the source, and actually digest it and stop trying to see everything through a lens of, but the politician told me so. So you can get that shirt and more SHR swag on shrmedia.com. But look, the better shows, Lyle's one of the better shows. Here's more shows that are way better than mine that you should check out every Tuesday and Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon on the East Coast. You have Mission Ready Men with my man, Big E, Tuesday, Thursday nights. The Bulbous One, BZ's Berserk, Bobcat Saloon, that's 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 on the East Coast. Monday and Fridays, you have my man, Jersey Joe with the Reaver of Common Sense, and that's at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 on the East Coast. And then on Sundays, he will be making his return. The Lost Wanderer will be coming back to SHR Media, usually 5 p.m. live on Sundays on the Pacific Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. That's it for me. I'll be back Monday at 8. Please follow me on X, number 2 Against Tyranny, shrmedia.com. Thank you for being in chat. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you for all of everybody who interacted with us. I'll see you Monday.